is the most strategic business asset. It means that if you have data, the necessary data, so you are the controller. It means that you control your company, right? Your activity. So data and information from this point of view is they have on-premises server. I mean, they have own servers, or they keep their data, let's say, on cloud, right? So while you are extracting your data, you not find is this data in well. So it means that first of all, you should identify your data, and you will need to clean your data, and then to get the good insights, you will need to transform your data. Of course, considering that you are a good company, there are a lot of say departments in your company, and each department is dealing with specific kinds of, say, activities. So it means that you have data, right? I mean, tables. So this is the, one of the most important things. And I hope this is one of the best side of elite, business about this in a few minutes. So, and also each data analyst should know the following. We have 5 kinds of analytics, like descriptive analytics, say diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, prescriptive, and cognitive. Let me explain briefly what they mean. Descriptive analytics answer to the question, what has happened based on historical data. Diagnostic analytics help answer questions like events happened. Predictive analytics helps you just to answer the question, what will happen in the future? And we have prescriptive analytics. Prescriptive analytics help answer questions like which actions should be taken to achieve a goal or target. Last but not least, we have cognitive analytics. That means that you learn what might happen if circumstances change and determine how you might handle these situations. So these are 5 main categories of analytics, right? So let's talk a little bit about the roles. We mentioned that in 2022, Monster says that Indian companies, 96% of Indian companies, they open positions like data analytics, business analytics, so on and so forth. So business analyst is one of the roles in data. Then we have data analyst, data engineer, data science, and also database administrator. For example, cognitive analytics is much more related to, say, data science. So these roles are also related to the specific category of analytics also. I would like to describe very briefly each role. Actually, business analyst and data analyst is the same, but business analyst is much more, is a person who is closer to the money, business. But data and this is a person like a specialist, is specialized in interpreting the data. Who makes the visualization from the data. This is much more related to business analyst. As for data analyst is a person who identifies your data, who profiles, cleans, and transforms your data, and also who builds the relationship among your tables, right? As for data engineers, these are the people who build your database. It can be either on premises or in the cloud. And also we have data science. These are the people who just are related to much more predictive analytics. It means that they can forecast what's going to happen based on the historical data, right? And also we have database administrator. These are the people who are dealing with the operation of your database. So these are the brief description of each role, right? As of data analyst, we have preparation task, we have modeling task, visualization, analyzing, and also managing tasks. So briefly, prepare means data preparation is the process of profiling, cleaning, and transforming your data. This is done really by data analysts. And also we have modeling. You have to build the relationship among your tables. You have to visualize, because when you can interpret your data using your visualization. It doesn't make you feel tired, right? And also you can analyze. It means that you can interpret your data, into facts. So and also we have manage just task. It means that you can share your report dashboards with others, with your colleagues, so on and so forth, right? And let me talk a little bit about Power BI. So Power BI is one of the business intelligence tools. We have other tools like Tableau, Gleek, Oracle also has its, business intelligence tools, Alteryx, TIBCO, so on and so forth. But the first three business intelligence tools, Power BI, Tableau, and Gleek, are the leaders of the market. And we'll see it in a few minutes. Just pay attention. This is the magic quadrant, of Gartner. If you pay attention here, we see leaders, right? Leaders are Microsoft, Salesforce, Tableau, and Gleek. So it means that, yes, if you are in need of, if you try to be a data analyst, so you should start with one of these tools, right? Okay, let's go on. Power BI is and connectors that work together to turn your unrelated sources of data into coherent, visually immersive, and interactive insights. If you pay attention here, we have just a supplier quality analysis. So based on them, just syncing to the map, you can, and syncing to the sizes of bubble, you can just formulate or generate some ideas about your sales, right? So, and this is also scatter chart, so it also means a lot. And so it means that Power BI helps you to do to build these kinds of, dashboards or reports, so on and so forth. And parts of Power BI, there are three parts: Power BI Desktop, Power BI Service, and Power BI Apps. So we'll understand it. Power BI Desktop is free of charge. You can prepare everything up on Power BI Desktop, then you can transfer your data to Power BI Service, where you will be able to share your knowledge with others. And also, as for Power BI Apps, it means that you can also share your, reports and dashboards, so on and so forth, using your mobile devices, right? Or you can prepare some apps. And here we can see where you can download Power BI Desktop. It's better to download your Power BI Desktop from Windows Store, because it will automatically stay updated. It's really very important. And as for Power BI Service, if you need just to share your prepared dashboards, reports with others, so you have to just transform your data or your report into the Power BI Service. From there, you will be able to share it with others. To do it, you have to have your own account, and the Power BI gives you trial account for 2 months, 60 days. Okay, so you have to sign with your email address, and this is the flow of Power BI work. Just how Power BI works. For example, you bring your data into Power BI Desktop and you create a report, then report to the Power BI Service. There you are able to create new visualizations and build dashboards. And also, while you are on Power BI service, you can share your dashboard with others. And at the end, others can use their mobile devices just to view and interact with shared dashboards. So building blocks of Power BI, this is visualizations, data sets, reports, dashboards, and also files. Just a few moments while you are transferring your report that you have prepared on Power BI desktop, and while you are transforming it to the Power BI, the data sets that has been used in the preparation of report on Power BI desktop is also transformed, right? While you are building Power BI dashboard can be on one page. You can make or build, visualization like in the form of tiles. So these are the blocks of Power BI. Then a few words about visualization. Visualization, we know what does visualization mean. It represents the data in form of chart. Data sets, it means it's the collection of data that you are using while you are preparing or building reports. Reports is done, it's the collection of reports, visualizations that can be appeared more than one pages. Dashboards are done only on one page and on dashboard Power BI service. And also we have tiles. In Power BI, a tile is a single visualization on a dashboard. So actually, these are also just the main definitions while you are using your Power BI service. Actually, I'm not going to talk more about this. So just I would like to attract your attention to the resource that I have used. While preparing this presentation, I have used shop.presentationprocess.com web address. Actually, I have my necessary license. Also, this is open source. Pixabay code. Some photos have been gathered, have been extracted from this website, and also some other logos have been just extracted from enterprise.dna.com. So this is all about from my side. With your permission, I'm just going to start sharing. And if you have, questions or something to let me, something to tell or comments, you can share it with me. So, in a few minutes, we are going to host our next speaker from Data Yoga, who will be talking about the data literacy and also Glee. So, but we have some times, so you can ask your question. You can use your chat. So I see that if silence, there's a silence, which means that nobody has questions. I hope our next speaker is from Data Yoga. So I would like to present the Data Yoga representative. Stage is yours. Okay. So I hope Data Yoga can share his screen and go on. So stage is yours.
Good evening, everybody. Elgar. Yeah. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be at your event. Give me a couple of seconds.
Okay.
Okay. I think, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. Dear colleague, my name is Andrei Demidov. Thank you for invitation for your good event. And today I want to share with you some tips and tricks we have in our organization community. Several years ago, me and my partner, Alexandra Usacheva, we decided to people from different companies that fond of working with data and use data visualization tool in their daily operation. And we now found more than 10,000 people who gathered in a big community, and we have really amazing best of practices for different industries, and we can share some methodological points and different templates, how to work with data and how to prepare graphs and diagrams and make dashboards that supports business solutions, business decisions, and make it in aesthetic way. Today, I want to show you some examples and framework we use to engage our community in such a good data visualization field. At the first, people in many companies, they don't have special education in schools and universities where the topics of data visualization have been presented. And we now have a lot of people who work with data at their working places, but they don't have knowledge and grammar and language of data, how to use different diagrams and graphs in their operation, how to see data and how to support their decisions. That's why several years ago we making framework that helps people start from the audience and moving through their business goals and key performance indicators to understand data. They have to calculate this key performance indicators and data that can be visualized in different graphs and diagrams and gathered in interactive dashboards. We also present this way to support the ability of everybody making good presentations based on the data and to show their insights that can be found in their information. We decided to share this knowledge and to see how people, different BI instruments works with information, what systems they use in their daily operations, how they can prepare aesthetic dashboards, and how they work with information. We organize several communities. Now it's a big community of Click specialists and Tableau specialists. Also have like special data literacy community. We call it Data Pomodoro, and also support some communities with the BI vendors who offer services for data visualization, such as Yandex Data Lens. Now it's more than 10,000 people who can share their news updates and different projects, and we can share cases that shows how we can use business intelligence in our operations. In this community, we also have a lot of like data stars, people who have really great knowledge and experience and who can help newcomers to understand how data works, how to find data in their organization, how to prepare dashboards, and share their knowledge about BI instruments. We today I want to show you by the case to show you how we prepare educational programs and some elements that we use in our educational programs. That it can be used by you in your organization to engage people, to show how data can be visualized and how people can use different approaches to prepare dashboards and making data stories. Let me show you one case. This case from our client. Before we start, let's discuss what we should prepare for grammar of the language of data visualization. At first, people should understand where the data now located in their organization. How data is, what data type they have in their information. How these data types can be converted to graphs and diagrams, and that's why every programs and every workshop, we start from the really simple and really powerful techniques that shows the most popular visualization techniques that can be used for making dashboards. At the second, in any programs, we also add blocks that we can show business intelligence tool, and we can start from the scratch, like people from newcomers who didn't work before with any BI instrument, and they should understand interfaces. They should understand how to make calculations, and they should understand in a short way how to make visual way to answer their business questions. That's why in the programs we call it data visualization marathons. We include business intelligence tools. We include psychological techniques and aesthetic techniques, how to visualize data, and also add cases that where people can see how real dashboards works in their organization. Let me show some examples. One of our clients who has a lot of 1,000 people inside their organization, who has a lot of different data sources, and they want to work with BI instruments. They have several BI vendors on their like a set of tools in that organization, but they should understand the main principle for how to visualize data and how to use this instrument in their work. We start from making special design and special styles for this program, and trying to prepare the aesthetic ways where our design of all the educational materials can support brand of the organization. It should be colors and fonts and different visual elements that people used to use in their organization. At the second, we should clearly show the main goals on this for these programs. These goals should be connected with the benefits, and every participant should understand what knowledge and what tools and abilities they can have after the educational program. They should understand what kind of business tasks they can solve with the business intelligence instruments. That's why for the practical cases, we don't use abstract knowledge, abstract examples of dashboards. We're trying to engage professional from the inside the organization. We are trying to bring to our program specialists from different functions inside the company, like human resource professionals, finance professionals, data office professionals. Together, all those people who already work with business intelligence tools and who can share their knowledge and to show for newcomers for how to use this instrument and how to speak language of data. We also let me show you some visual examples and like tips and tricks we use in our communication with all the participants for the marathons, and how we engage people inside their educational programs. At the first, all the materials should be visually presented to participants. We're trying to use digital boards to have all the information we have in data visualization, like chart choosers, like different rules, different checklists, and posters. We gather it in one public place, and everybody can connect and see this information through the program. The second one, we also trying to prepare materials and artifacts that can sum up all the educational program. Every participant can see what they have in different days of these marathons, how they can, what they studied, and what examples and what kind of lessons they have on these marathons. And we share these posters with all the participants, and it helps everybody have a good example, like best practices to see how to use different types of charts, like bar charts, line charts, tables, how to use colors in their real projects. The very important part of this educational program, also, you can bring people inside the organization to have a discussion, and in the easy way to share their knowledge and to show real dashboards, real advices that people can see from their colleagues. That gives them really powerful way to share this knowledge and to give examples of the real projects, templates, and they can really easily connect with their colleagues and have advice. For each marathons, we also use like Zoom sessions. It may be once a week or maybe everyday sessions. They should be collected after the marathons, and they have like we have like book of marathons with all these videos. Every participant from marathons can see them later, or just back to interesting topics and to see how to make dashboards. We also understand that have a lot of questions, but maybe some of people very shy. They prefer to write formal letters to have this conversation and to have communication inside these programs. We use different techniques, like to have Telegram chats, and some companies they have internal social networks tools like Microsoft Teams or Slacks or any preferable system where the people can join and share and have talks, and all the 24 hours in day they can send their question, and a lot of specialists who can see these questions, they can bring their answers to advise something or just to bring solutions they have in their real projects. It's very, very important. And also, we recommend to have not just formal education, try to make it fun at your projects. Just to have like jokes, a lot of, we use a lot of sticker sets that bring people to the conversation, and then people can share their really life. Design knowledge. Some people bring methodological or domain expertise to the project, and this team really fast they can teach their colleagues and help to understand how to use business intelligence tools. And also data office team can share the ways that people can find data sources. It's a main problem in many organizations, because people should easily find data to calculate their key performance indicators and prepare their reports. This to know where the data sources is now, it's the first step, and later you can use business intelligence instruments to prepare, like a self-service, to prepare their own dashboards and then publish them and share with the colleagues. And also on this educational programs, people can start working with data just now, because data sets and real examples from their organization, and we have tasks people can solve through the educational programs. It's really easy way, engaging way to have fast education inside the big companies. And also, you know that a lot of vendors, they have research departments who are making polls and can forecast the future. And we can see from Click Research Labs that a lot of people by the 2030, data literacy and knowledge about the data and how to work with data, it will be the most in-demand skill. But the only 11% of the employees globally are fully confident in all data literacy skills. This gives us a big road, big task to help people to know the language of data and to know how to visualize, how to use the powerful tools in their daily operations. And just to look at the special skill, we call it data sketch. A lot of people, before they making dashboards, they use like wireframes, and they use just pens to understand what they want to have after their at the end of their project. And the better you can draw, and the better you can see the final products. And in our programs, we have a task to redraw, rearrange, or offer different ways for visualization from the past, like Florence Nightingale charts. This very famous chart, it's a first example of visual representation that helps understand life. And at our programs, a lot of participants trying to really understand how these old charts can be represented now in different ways. And you can see that that people can see differently and can count different topics of their visualization. Like some of them use formal types and most useful like line graphs. Some of them try to make more media approach and to find interesting fonts and interesting part of the graphs. Just show minimal or maximum some KPIs from the dashboard. And some of them use like Sketch, really easy Sketch was to focus on the main numbers or dates in the information. This really useful skills to help a lot of people in their internal communication between each other to show what we want to have at the end of our project, what dashboards and how it can look at the business intelligence tools. And we really save time and money for organization to bring this knowledge to the people, to the participants. And let me finalize my presentation just to headline some very important topics and techniques that you can use in your educational programs. As the first, just try to promote data literacy skills and to show how the people can really fast to know how to work with data. The second one, promoting people, bring experts and internal professionals who can share their knowledge inside the organization. Make the education on the real cases. Just bring the work that works now at the organization to show different elements and to share these advices and best practices internally with newcomers. Use gamification and different presents and make quizzes, make it fun, make it interesting to be every day at the marathon and to bring some piece of knowledge on visualization. The second one is like to have all this information ready to like a book. You should bring all this knowledge to the local data office portals or any form of knowledge sharing that people use after this event. And also the real works and the real practice and the real examples of the task can bring participants to the next level of their performance. Thank you very much. That's my tips and different techniques I can show you. I can share with you on educational program. And we, with our team in Data Yoga, really open. Can help you if you want to design these programs into your organization, or you can use our materials, education materials. They are free for all the participants in the community. You can share it with your colleagues in your organization. Elgar, thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your efforts, your contribution on behalf of the community. Thank you for a wonderful session. We have, I would like to introduce our next speaker, whose name is Marina Paidina. So Marina, just for your information, I would like to tell you that, dear participants, Marina Paidina has organized so-called marathon a few days before, so I hope has something to share with you. So stage is yours, Marina. So you can share your screen and go on. There you are. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yes, I'll be very quick. That's to support what Andrei has just said and show the activity which we have done very recently. In fact, it has ended this week. That was Click Sense Marathon for Azerbaijan. As Click, we are a company who are on a mission to make the world more data literate place. And in less than 10 years, about 85% of executives, they believe data literacy will be a vital skill as using the computer today. So it's really great, and to have such programs that Andrei has already described. And we have leveraged already 6 data literacy and Click marathons with Data Yoga team. Of course, we are not doing this all alone. We are doing this every time with the local partners. For example, this ClickSense Marathon we had in Azerbaijan, it was held with the great support and content engagement from Smart Solutions team and PVC Azerbaijan, and also from Turkish and Kazakhstan's partners of Click, Biotechnology and Datanomics. So I'll be very quick to show you some engagements numbers. So that's not just our activity developing Azerbaijan market, but it's really great to see the level of engagement, the level of interest in data. We had more than 600 registrations, but moreover, we had a lot more visitors. That means that people were really interested in our content, and they were sharing with their friends, with their co-workers, the links, the interesting materials, and it is really, really cool. What about the mechanics? That's a really quick slide so that you understand that in terms of this marathon, we also use the techniques that Andrei has already covered. So we had a nearly long read, including 4 different parts, success story, inspiring one to give people vision how you may use analytics to develop the company, to get more business and so on. Theory about the day, and also some practical tasks and useful links. Every week we also had a Zoom session with some experts recapping all the week, and also we had daily support in Click Telegram chat that we specially created for this. In fact, the success stories is an important part when you are talking about analytics, because when you have only theory and practice, that's sometimes difficult for people who are not very deeply deep diving into data analytics to understand how and what insights they can get from data. So it's important to show some examples of how other companies are doing this, how they are professionals in their field, finance, HR, sales, marketing, what insights they are driving from data, learn and have new ideas, ask new questions from data. So it's not only very inspiring, but also it's really great if we have some companies to look at and to think what we can do with data and analytics. In fact, the marathon was 12 days, but still all the materials are accessible. So if you want, you also can join. I will put the link into chat. After registration, you get access to the book of the marathon. You can read, you can learn, you can make all practical tasks, and even receive the certificate afterwards. Yes, and also if you are interested in trying out the technologies using just the learning path we have offered you in the marathon, you can also join our Click group in Telegram. It's live. It contains from Azerbaijan, from ABB, Ashtergach Insurance, Smart Solutions, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and many more. So please feel free to join, to ask questions, to communicate. We'll be very happy to welcome you. Yes, that's That's really amazing how speakers were sharing their whole tasks and their first steps and click. Yes, so I think that's a wrap up from me. Thanks a lot for having me. So that's the address. You may join and receive all the materials. And what I really want to say as my last word, that's data literacy is of course a continuous journey. And it's meant to support your employees with taking right steps, with onboarding, with mentoring them. And then you will have so amazing results using data-driven management in your company, and you will be unbeatable. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Marina. I love the word of inspiration. What inspired me more, your marathon is inspiring number of attendees. I mean, the number of people who has just registered for your marathon. So I wish you all the best. I appreciate your contribution for the community, and I hope and strongly believe that in upcoming years, this number will be increasing. Thank you very much. I appreciate your help, your contributions. Thank you. It's a great honor to see you here. Okay. Teşekkürler. So I would like to introduce our next lovely speaker, Slavica Dimovska, who is coming from Montenegro. So, and she will talk about the data that we can use or gather from labor market. So, the stage is yours, Slavica. You can share your screen and go on. Good luck.
Thank you. Good afternoon, colleagues. It is my pleasure to join you today for this very attractive and I would say extremely important topic for not only the, I would say, education world, but also the world of work and labor market as a whole. And that means it translates also to the wider economic and social development of the country. I would like to share with you some kind of insight about how we usually generate the knowledge about the labor market demand in order to respond to needs that our companies requests in terms of skills and knowledge, and to create that kind of curricula and that kind of education-related documents in very various contexts. And talking about various contexts, we talk about the formal education, but also we talk about the non-formal education solutions and the types of qualifications that are more and more popular, especially those that are produced by the commercial training centers. All in all, whatever we talk when creating the knowledge, we have to listen what is needed, and we usually do it through the labor market needs assessment. This is kind of common approach implemented by anyone for any purposes of the investigation. How do we assess the wider, let's say, context of the labor market demand? You can see that we always start from something that is officially applied as a common definition. International Labour Organization definition about this, but nevertheless, when talking about the labor market analysis, we can do it, and we usually do it starting from the wider context. Here I have to step for a moment and to share with you what is an ideal situation when assessing, no matter who is doing this for the specific topic. When thinking about the country context, we usually take into consideration a very wide picture of what economy needs. And this is something that we, especially people from the education sector, sometimes we step out and we do not consider but we cannot forget that at the end of on the story, this is what we try to satisfy: the economic and social picture of a country profile, what we are looking for in a smaller, let's say, area. So in that sense, we take into consideration several indicators that make a picture of a whole country context, both in the current and in the future needs. This is extremely interesting topic, especially in, let's say, virus, for example, which has significant consequences on a whole country profile. And of course, in that sense, we have to mention, and you probably, some industry sectors had very, very deep consequences in that sense. Some kind of example would be interesting in the sector of tourism, for example. So it's very important to take as a whole the country context when we start our labor market analysis, and where it is where we start with the analysis as a whole. Then outcomes of the supply side of the education area, because this will create a kind to make relating to this. So here, usually what we do is going in detail about the employment related indicators like activity rates and inactivity rates, long-term unemployment. But here I would like also to mention some kind of specific indicators that we always take into consideration where we are trying to paint the picture about the comprehensive analysis, which is related also to the specific groups on the labor market. So we have to analyze in detail people from rural area, for example, people that are equivalent on the labor market for any reason, like migrants, for example. Labor market, like category of young people that are not included anymore in the education sector, but also they're not included in the labor market as well. This is a very specific group of people, and recent years, a lot of specific analysis is done specifically for them. In that sense, they are all research that we do. Then, let's say the more detailed analysis, when we create the knowledge, is done for the, let's say, specific components like education, for example. And here we have to stop and to see how do we analyze this component of the labor market analysis. So in different countries, it might be a different situation, but in a certain number of countries, we have, let's say, a long-term conflict between the world of work and education world. So the gap between what education sector is providing is not in line with the needs of the labor market. And the third part of that labor market analysis is in that sense very important, because usually it takes the most of the time when we look what is offered in both formal and non-formal education, and look what is needed in order to make kind of balance of the demand and supply. And usually this is the difficult task, and the task that sometimes, unfortunately, we do not, let's say, complete in a proper way for many reasons. But unfortunately, this must be solved in order to complete the analysis on a proper way. And the final step, which is done as part of the analysis, is related to the specific, very selective dimensions of interest, especially about the concrete skills, concrete occupations the employers are looking for. And in the terms of the specific target groups, sometimes we investigate also a barrier that some target groups might face in that sense. For the fourth class of the assessment, I would share with you some kind of common types of the assessment that is done by different actors in the society and by different institutions. We have, and this is a common task in companies within the HR departments, they have to identify, they have to translate the findings to the requested skills by workers that are usually lower level in the company hierarchy. And then HR derive the information from that source in order to design kind of the framework for the training based on skills that are demanded in that specific sector. But nowadays, and this is kind of the other way of the investigation that is done in some sophisticated company, is so-called 360 overview, which is usually done by the specific type of specialists who are able to assess the company as a whole, and not only looking specific skills, but I would say company departments, the way they perform, and by that to identify what is eventually missing, which makes kind of basis for the future development of specific improvement programs. On the other hand, by some other companies, like Boeing, for example, or Mercedes, or some kind of world-known companies, but also by some people that are coming from education sector. This is very popular. We implement usually so-called DACUM and functional analysis, most commonly, to find out the specific skills, and with a task to create the knowledge, to create the proper programs for the gaining skills and knowledge requested by the labor market. Those include, as mentioned, document functional analysis as the most common. This is usually done in very close cooperation, and this is very important to mention here maybe again, that in any case, when we are creating the programs and we are creating the curricula, no matter who is doing that job, companies itself, or the education sector, or employment agencies, we all have to cooperate closely with employers, because they are the only who knows what is really needed by them. I mention it again because it is again some kind of common mistake that unfortunately so often. Namely, in some situations, education authorities, for example, are making kind of working groups to design the curricula that does not have very direct link with the real world, the world of work. So we end up with kind of qualifications and occupations that we are not sure could be in line with the needs. And unfortunately, in many cases, they are not. Generating the process using those methods means that we give the word to the employers, listen them, and we simply translate that input to the proper education-related documents, and based on this, we can go on and create the knowledge. Those are very often most common approach that we usually do. But however, when we assess and try to predict the labor market, we try to create kind of information systems, because we cannot work disconnected. So what we have to do for that system to create, to be functional, is to include all important stakeholders in the system, like I mentioned, companies and employment sector and education sector. But nowadays, we also have kind of development in this area. So commonly, we include also academic institutions like university, like anyone who can provide that kind of background knowledge. Why it is important? I mentioned before an example from coronavirus situation, where we experienced very, very difficult situation related to the predictions. I'm quite sure that even today, it is not a simple task to be able to predict the skill sets and the knowledge for specific qualifications, and especially when we talk about the whole sectors, industry sectors. Something could significantly change, and the education sector is usually unable to step up immediately and to provide the qualified workforce to satisfy the needs. In that sense, we have to all to work to get together. And we have to agree, let's say, on methods and tools. We have to have full analytical capacity in order to have that kind of 360 information system to satisfy the needs. And of course, again, in order to, let's say, to satisfy the whole system of skills needs anticipation, we have to have a close cooperation between different institutions in the country. When we talk about the specific tools and methodology, how do we do it in reality? Talking about all four, let's say, sequences, all four modules or that I have mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, we cannot rely only on one type of data. This is simply impossible in social science. are tracer studies. Those are the documents, those are the databases, those are the sources that we use to see what's happened with the students. Where are they going? Are they employed in their sector? In some cases, I would mention not a country, but an example without naming the country. A recent study based on some kind of tracer methodology find out that only 10% of students are employed in the sector they are educated for. And this is the very important sign, for example, that something must be wrong. The education offer does not satisfy the labor market. And then, if we go deeper, we will find that it can result with a lot of investments that are not needed if we plan accordingly. Because those students have to have some additional training, have to gain some additional qualifications in order to be attractive on a labor market. And interest in the labor market could vary from different aspects. In that sense, we usually do targeted assessment for a specific groups. Maybe we can sometimes assess different level in a country, going through the sector or going the different, let's say, aggregation on a local, regional, or the country level. Sometimes, if we have the capacities and if we have that kind of situation in the country with very huge companies, we may do assessment on a company level. And it all depends on the specific needs, what we are trying to find out. In that sense, I would also highlight some kind of assessment that is very attractive nowadays, and this is related also to soft skills. Those dimensions are highlighted by companies nowadays that are even more important than the professional skills and knowledge. And this is more and more part of the dimensions of interest for the labor market analysis. Then, when talking about the source of data that we use, we always, in practice, in our daily work, use a variety of sources in order to make kind of more comprehensive research. So we start simply by looking at administrative data produced by institutions, agencies, and governmental bodies in the country. But also, we are using the data produced by the official statistics. And those data, no matter about the availability and the scope in a specific countries, we have to take very seriously, and those data are usually produced by law, so we tend to use them and to trust them. But in many cases, we also use some kind of international databases. Sometimes in reality, it happens that the national data, the statistics offices do not produce some kind of important indicators. And those data are available in some international databases. I will mention some very important indicators from the social statistics, like level of income, standard of living, and the data that are very important to properly target, properly identify specific vulnerable groups on our labor market that we also have to assess and to create the proper labor market measures for that. All in all, this is kind of 3 cycles of data that we are looking for. When summarizing them, they all come from education, world indicators, social, economic, and clear labor market indicators. Only 3 of them together can make the comprehensive labor market analysis. And with this slide, I'm going to finish my presentation for today. This is more or less kind of illustration. How does it practically work? What kind of instruments, what kind of indicators we are usually use when assessing the labor market in order to satisfy the requests of the proper learning design. Thank you very much, and I'm available for your questions and the comments, of course, so feel free to discuss.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, Slavica. Exactly 30 minutes. This is what truly speaker does. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
This is the training again. Thank you, Ilgar. This is the
training. Exactly. Okay, actually, I appreciate your contribution. I appreciate the report. Really, you did a great job. Really, it's data and information is a great asset, and specifically data in labor market is much more important. So, thank you for sharing this information with us. Just for information, more than 250 people have been registered for the event, and it's live streaming on other social media platforms. So thank you very much, really. I appreciate your help. So thank you once again.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Great, thank you. So now it's time for local experts, and we all know about 21st century learning designs. And our educators in local schools, they are just trying to implement these 21st century methods. So from this point of view, I would like to introduce our first local expert, who is actually a student. It's the first time that she's going to deliver a speech on this platform, but I hope it will be very useful. So I would like to introduce you Zehra Ismailova. So Zehra, you can share your screen and go on. Good luck. And Zehra will be delivering her speech in Azerbaijani language, but for English language speakers, they can use this, translation services. So we have translation English button, so you can use it. So good luck.
Hello. I'm grateful for being at this event. Let me introduce my topics, and I try to compare my generation and this generation, also share about teaching generation Z. First of all, we try to see that who is generation Z and who is generation Z. Generation Z, that was. First of all, I try to show my agenda. So we know about which generation Z, characteristics of generation Z, teaching strategies for generation Z, what skills to teachers need, what skills to students need, also teaching tools. Who is generation Z? Generation Z was born after 1995. Who is still coming to the workforce, but thanks to initial makers has decision makers highly connected based on the recent statistics. The preferences of generation Z is confirmed that with greatest number of players aged between 19 and 29 years. After that, we try to be able to use learning methods correctly. It's important that we know about characteristics of Generation Z. First of all, we see that, so we learn about characteristics of Generation Z. First of all, they are digital natives. They have grown up with the knowledge that they can speak to everyone around the world as a human through a sort of social networks. That's why they have been doing for their entire life. For this generation, electronics and technology were a luxury and necessity for living in the modern world. Every previous generation has seen a change from analog to the digital. For Generation Z, information has always been consumed and shared digitally. Generation Z is a first generation for whom the extraordinary technological advances of the last 20th century are just a normal part of life. Second main characteristic of Generation Z is they are accepting. What's accepting? To be tolerant of differences has always been the default tradition of Generation Z. Partly, this is motivated by the fact that the Generation Z are themselves a very diverse generation. They are the generation whose parents meet people from all over the world through cheap flights and the internet. As a result, they are more likely to be mixed race and hold more than one nationality than their preceders. They are a heterogeneous generation, and they like it. Because they have a heterogeneous generation. The third most characteristics of Generation Z is they are health conscious. Our understanding of nutrition has advanced a lot. While nutrition isn't for our science, it's certainly moved on a lot, and Generation Z have the benefit. And as the generations that have become teenagers, they are continuing to the street. They are much less likely to take up smoking than the previous generation, and far more of them drink no alcohol, not even in moderation. Part of this has been put to the fact that the generation that can socialize with friends online more equally than any previous generation, and so spend less time going out to the parties than older generations did. The fourth one, they value the privacy. Living in the digital world, Generation Z places greatest importance on the digital security. Compared to previous generations, this generation pays attention to it and tries to use social network more carefully. Fifth one, they are entrepreneurial. Generations that have grown up in the world that hasn't always made them feel financially secure, and they have taken that on board in their plan for their future careers. They dream of becoming entrepreneurs, living up their own business, and never needing to answer labor. With all the resources of internet at their disposal, they know that running your own business can be very hard, but they are ready for it because they see it a route to the financial security that they priorities, and their goals are optimistic but not impossible. Sixth one that they are changing. The line between childhood and adulthood has moved a lot over the past 100 years. Generation Z won't leave education until they are 18 at least, and a large majority of them will go on university after that. The number of girls in Generation Z having babies as teenagers is likely to be lower than it has been 400 years, and as Generation Z have grown up in a world that is unsafe. They are unlikely to have enjoyed the freedom to roam by themselves that earlier generations took for granted. They are also much less likely to own a car or know how to drive one. But in the other direction, Generation Z awareness of the internet and the privacy means that even as young teenagers, they are thinking about what they are saying and how they are saying it, and even working towards establishing a personal brand online. Generation Z might have a relatively hard compared to some of their preceders, but their strong sense of their own identity and their determination to succeed should see them through. And next one is teaching strategies for Generation Z. Let's look at some learning strategies based on the characteristics of Generation Z. First of all, think digital in all assignments, assessments, and activities. Second one, break into short segments. Third one, make information graphical and bite-sized. Fourth one, rethink how you communicate. Fifth one, be relevant, respect the time of the Generation Z. Provide individualized instruction in adaptive learning. Use social media approach to learning. Set up students for career. Provide access to resources to help eliminate students loneliness. Acknowledge that generation sees themselves as smart, creative, and hardworking. Then we talk about what skills to teach to teachers need. We have learned about the characteristics of Generation Z. Let's talk about teaching skills. First of all, become a learning guide. Second one, embrace technology. Third one, encourage educational freedom. Fourth one, to teach risk-taking. And this last one, understand without access matters. What skills do students need to learn as we teach the basic. First of all, technical skills. Second, conceptual skills and interpersonal skills. Entrepreneurial and innovation skills, information literacy, and humanistic literacy. At least which tools are needed for teaching? Hundreds of digital education tools have been created with the purpose of giving autonomy to students, improving their administration of academic processes, encourage collaboration, and facilitating communication between teachers and learners. Here we present 11 of most popular. First of all, Edmodo. Edmodo is an educational tool that connects teachers and students and is assimilated into a social network. In this one, teachers can create online collaborative groups, administer and provide educational materials, measures students' performance, and communicate with parents, among other functions. Second one is Socrates, designed by a group of entrepreneurs and engineers passionate about education. Socrates is a system that allows teachers to create exercise or educational games which students can solve using mobile devices, whether smartphones, laptops, or tablets. Teachers can see the result of the activities and, depending on this, modify the subsequent lessons in order to make them more personalized. And the third one is Project. Project is a tool that allows you to create multimedia presentations with dynamic slides in which you can embed interactive maps, links, online quizzes, Twitter timelines, and videos, among other options. During a class session, teachers can share with students academic presentations which are visually adapted to different devices. Fourth one is Thinking Link. Thinking Link allows educators to create interactive images with music, sounds, text, and photographs. This can be shared on other websites or on social networks such as Twitter and Facebook. Fifth one, TEDx. TEDx is an educational platform that allows creating educational lessons with the collaboration of teachers and students, animators, generally people who want to express knowledge and good ideas. And sixth one is TK12. TK12 is a website that seeks to reduce the cost of academic books for the K-12 market in the United States and the world. To achieve its objective, this platform has an open source interface that allows creating and distributing educational material through the internet, which can be modified and contain videos, audios, and interactive exercises. And seventh one is Class Dojo. Class Dojo is a tool to improve student behavior. Teachers provide their students with instant feedback so that the good disposition in class is rewarded with points and students have a more receptive attitude towards the learning processes. And eighth one is Edu Clippers. This platform allows teachers and students to share and explore references and educational material. Ninth one is Storyboard. Storyboard aims to promote writing and reading skills in students through storytelling. In this tool, teachers can create interactive and artistic books online through a simple and easy to use interface. The stories created can be embedded in blogs, sent by email, and printed among other options. And 10th one is Animoto. Animoto is a digital tool that allows you to create higher quality videos in a short time and from any mobile devices, inspiring students and helping improve academic lessons. The Animoto interface is frank and practical, allowing teachers to create audiovisual content and that adapts the educational needs. And last one, Kahoot. Kahoot is an educational platform that's based on games and questions. And I want to summarize my topic. The facts show that the goals of learning for students change over time. As the goals and objectives have changed. So the research based on effective learning and tools that students use. Student population have also shifted over years. Given this many changes in student population towards technology and society, requirements have emerged along with need for new pedagogical approaches that are more child-centered and more cultural sensitive. The requirement for teachers to meet such a diversity of challenges also illustrates why assessment needs to be a tool to help teachers determine if they have achieved their objectives. Assessment can guide teachers in tailoring their instruction and individual students' learning needs and inform parents of these children's progress. And I am thank you for inviting these events and listening.
Thank you very much, Zehra. Thank you for your session. By the way, I would like to ask attendees to use Q&A button for their questions. You can use this button for your questions. Now, I would like to invite the next our speaker. I hope the next speaker is Sayara Aliyeva. So I think, yes, Sayara Aliyeva is here. I don't see her, unfortunately. Then we are going to with Tarana Agabayeva. So Tarana, you can share your screen and go on. So I think there is a technical issue. Our next speakers are Tarana Agabayeva, so and Sayara Aliyeva. Yes, Sayara Aliyeva is here. I think there was a technical issue. So Sayara, you can share your screen and go on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
And
much.
sorry for interrupting you. Once again, attendees can use Q&A button for asking for the questions. And also you can talk in Azerbaijan language. We have say interpreter who can translate all the sayings from Azerbaijan into English. It's up to you. So good luck.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Ilgar. And I'd like to present to you my presentation, about the knowledge construction. Just I need to share my screen a second, please. Yep, sharing the screen, and that's it. Here it is. Can you see my screen, please?
Yes. We see your screen. Here you are. Here we go.
Okay. Thank you so much. So I'd like, first of all, I would like to welcome everyone. I would like to present the brief information about the lesson, our lesson that was based on the knowledge construction. And as we know, the knowledge construction is one of the dimensions of the 21st century learning design. And we know that this is the 21st century learning design as a development helps that educators to redesign the existing type of the knowledge activities and the learning skills. It is based on the international innovative teaching and learning research objects. So learning construction is one of the 6 dimensions of 21st century knowledge design. Each dimension, as well as the knowledge construction, consists of the rubrics. And first of all, I'd like to introduce you the rubrics of the knowledge construction as well. So the knowledge construction rubrics, there are 5, and the first of them is the learning activity, which does not require learners to construct a knowledge. Learners can complete the activity by reproducing information or by using the familiar procedures. As you see, here is no way of the knowledge construction, and we do not talk about this at all. That is why it's just the first level of this rubric. Number 2 is the level 2 is the learning activity.
yönləndirirlər, biz informasiya mübadiləsi aparırıq. Sonra isə deməli, burada mən bir video linki qoymuşam. Şagirdlər videonu izlədikdən sonra bugünkü mövzu haqqında fikirlərin irəli sürürlər və mən belə bir sual irəli sürmüşəm ki, how do you use water in your daily life? Yəni gündəlik həyatınızda suyu necə istifadə edirsiniz? Və biz mübadilə aparırıq. Sonradan isə deməli şagirdlərə belə bir işləməkləri üçün, yəni dərsi özləri başa düşmələri, dərk etmələri üçün belə bir burada interaktiv bir şey qoymuşam ki, bu nədir? Biz bilirik ki, Knowledge Construction'ın 5 rubriki var. Bu rubriklərdən birində deyir ki, yəni şagird bilgi hazır qavramamalı, onu dərk etməli, özü yəni inkişaf etdirməli, öyrənməlidir. Ona görə mən də bu üsuldan istifadə edirəm və burada balaca bir ipucu vermişəm ki, red circle is oxygen and white circle is hydrogen. Yəni burada bu görsəldə bunlar suyun formulunu orada mənim üçün yazırlar, linkə daxil olan şagirdlər. Və şagirdlər formulu yazandan sonra mən orada deməli və bu mərkəzdə olan yerdə şagirdlərin cavablarını görürəm. Sonradan isə deməli mən sual verirəm ki, in your opinion, by what chemical reaction is water formed? Yəni siz burada bu görsəldən suyun formulunu necə, yəni nəticə çıxardırsınız? Şagirdlər öz fikirlərini yazırlar. Təbii ki, biz orada yenə mübadilə aparacağıq şagirdlərlə bir yerdə. Onların düzgün və ya səhv cavablarını öyrənəcəyik. Yəni, cavablar necə verdiyini asılı olaraq şagirdlərlə mübadilə aparacağıq və dərsi deməli, daha yaxşı dərk etmiş olacaq. Məncə bu tür interaktiv alətlər şagirdlərin bilgi inşa etmələrində, bilgin toplamalarında çox yardımcı olur, onlara kömək edilir. Bu qədər İlqar müəllim.
Çox sağ olun. Dərin təşəkkürümü bildirirəm. Bizim şükürləyirəm. İndi isə Təranə xanım Ağabəyeva, əgər buradadsa, ekranını paylaşıb davam edə bilər. Səyyarə xanım hər halda problemi oldu. Yəni, Təranə xanım buradadsa ekranınızı paylaşın, davam edin. Başqa şəkildə biz bugünkü sesiyamızı bitirmiş olacağıq. Təranə xanım, eşidirsiniz? Okey. Əziz hörmətli iştirakçılar, artıq bizim bilgi necə inşa edilməli və how to construct knowledge adlı sesiyamız sona çatmışdır. Biz bu sesiyada fərqli ölkələrdən, Qazaxıstan, Rusiya, Montenegro və Azərbaycandan ekspertlərin iştirakı ilə datanın önəmi haqqında danışdıq. Məktəbdə necə datanın toplanmasından bağlı hansı alətlərdən istifadə edərək tədris edə bilərik, iş marketdən, labor marketdən datanı necə toplaya bilərik və eyni zamanda hansı business intelligence, iş zəkası alətlərindən istifadə edərək datanı manipulate edə bilərik. Bu mövzular haqqında toxunduq. Power BI girik məhsulları haqqında söhbət açıldı. Və bunu biz Endless Fairs platformasında yerinə yetirdik. Bu webinarın başlamasında əməyi keçən öncəliklə Endless Fairs komandasına, takımına öz dərin minnətdarlığımı bildirirəm. Bu mənim onlarla ikinci çalışmamdır və çox xoş olan hal da bundan ibarətdir ki, Azərbaycanda artıq Endless Fairs'dən daha çox şirkətlər istifadə etməyə başlayırlar. İnşallah bizim üçüncü çalışmamız da artıq hibrid formatda olacaq fevral ayında. Mən əlbəttə ki, həmin görüşdə də yenə sizləri görməkdən son dərəcə məmnun olardım. Qatıldığınız üçün hər birinizə dərin təşəkkürümü bildirirəm. Hər şey gönüllücə olsun və xoş istirahətlər arzu edirəm. Sağ olun və webinarımız burada sona çatmışdır. Gələn webinarlarda görüşmək ümidi ilə. Sağ olun.